Alright, welcome back to the channel. This is part 2 of the exhaust flexi repair on my Porsche Cayenne. If you haven't seen the first part, then go back and have a look and you'll see me take the old one off. And I ordered a replacement one, which is this part here. And I ordered this based upon the size of the exhaust, which is 60mm. Unfortunately, the downpipe on the Cayenne is 68mm, so it wouldn't actually fit over the downpipe. Plus, it's kind of curved where the old flexi was, so you really need a straight bit of pipe in order for that to sort of push over it. So what I did is I ordered a bigger pipe, 68mm one, and then the rest of this video is basically showing how I fitted that, and it's not what you'd expect because it doesn't slip over at all. So let's get on with the rest of the video. Okay, so my parts have arrived, and this is the solution I've come up with to try and fit this flexi into the Porsche. Because this won't fit the downpipe, it won't go over it, despite me thinking it might go over it even when it's got those little slits cut in it. It just isn't big enough. I tried to expand it by sort of denting it out a bit with a hammer. That didn't work. So I've cut it off, and I've got these exhaust flanges. These two things are held together by this clamp. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fit one of these flanges to there like that. It gets welded around the inside. I mean, I can probably weld around the outside on this because I can get to it. The other flange is going to get welded to the downpipe. So then you can put these two bits together like that. The clamp goes around them, and then I will be able to weld this flange, which is the original flange, off of the old flexi I cut off and cleaned up. I'm going to weld that to there in order to make that joint back up. Well, at least I'm going to try. That's what I'm going to try to do. So yeah, let's get to that. So I went to take the welder out this morning, and the only reel of stainless steel wire that I've got is this small one, and it turns out it doesn't fit on this giant spooler thing that I've got on here, and there is no facility in this welder for a smaller one. So that's to knock up a little wooden jig thing, and that's a pencil in there holding that, and then clamp it to the frame in order to spool that wire out, because I need to use stainless wire for this job. Honestly, I thought the Sealy might have put some facility for a slightly smaller spool in there rather than like a 5 kilo one, because I think that's all it'll take on this giant thing. All this comes off, but there's still no provision for a smaller spool in there. And the keen-eyed amongst you, if you've ever seen one of these welders, I think I've had it on one of my previous videos, it's a Super MIG 180 from Sealy, and it did have a door on there this morning, but the door folds up like that, but it doesn't go all the way back over and lay on there so you can work on it. It just sits vertical like that. So then when you let go of it, it literally goes crash, and you can't hold it. There's no prop for it. There's no way to actually get it to stay up while you're doing any work in here, so you have to hold it up with your head, and that got a bit tiring for me eventually, so I basically just headbutted it off of the machine. So as you can see, it's now broken. I'm going to have to get some replacement hinges and come up with some sort of mechanism. Perhaps I'll screw a piece of metal in here or something that I can turn that will hold the lid up, because if Sealy see this is the worst design ever. You cannot create a welder with an access door that you have to have one hand on the whole time you're doing it, or it falls down and hits you on the head, because you cannot load a spool of wire in there and feed it through here with one hand. Shocking design, really. I'm surprised I've put up with the door for so long. I've had this welder for years, and it's been a frustration for years, but this morning, because of this, having to do this nonsense, I just had a bit too much and the door went and it was gone. Right, so I've managed to get a tack weld on there. Ignore how messy that is, because I'll run around the inside of that with a die grinder to clean that up afterwards, because it's exceedingly awkward, a lot more awkward than I thought it would be, laying on my back, looking up in the air, trying to weld around the inside of a pipe. But it's got hold of it for the moment, so I'm going to test fit the cat up and the rest of the fitting, just to see what lengths I've got. I don't want to fully weld that out there yet. Right, so I've got that stainless flange tacked up there on the downpipe now. I'm just test fitting up the cat so I can measure the distance between the front flange of the cat and the top flange of the downpipe. Right, well, I've worked the length out at 160, and I've welded that first flange on there, and now I've just got to cut this bit of pipe off. I'm basically going to have to cut the pipe right here, cut these pipes completely off to get the 160 from flange to flange. And there's my repair piece all welded up. It's not the neatest job I've ever done, but it's two dissimilar metals, especially at that end. It's stainless and mild steel. I don't want to touch it because it's still red hot. I'm going to let it cool down now, and then I'm going to bolt it up and make sure it fits. Right, so that's it clamped at the top there now, ready for the cat to go onto the bottom flange. And I've just had a little test fit and it seems to fit all right, but now we'll just quickly bolt it up. Did I ever say about how much I love laying on my back in really tight spaces, doing very awkward jobs? It's the best. Get the bolt through and that through. Oh, sorry, that's still hot. And ow, 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 that's not so bad. This one bolt through. I've got copper nuts, which is the proper one you should be using for exhaust, because I don't. This is so awkward, I can't even tell you how awkward this is. Let's twist this round to actually meet. You would think I'd actually done this once, wouldn't you? What doesn't help is I'm doing it while it's still hot because I'm impatient. Ow, 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 ow. That is actually shit the bed. Ouch. It's actually still quite toasty. I'll actually wait to get this started up and see what it sounds like without an exhaust blow. It's been blowing the whole time since I got it, basically. There's no torque settings on that, it's just doing it up till it feels right. So this bracket here does look lower than this one. I can fix it up doing that, I suppose. Right, I have to bend this. There's the Flexi all bolted up. I struggled for length, it's probably about 10mm longer than it actually should be, because I didn't want to cut any further into this section because I was worried that all this would all spring out of it, because I've never disassembled one of these to know how far into that little sort of receptacle this goes. So I went as far as I could, and this does look a bit higher than it was previously. It looks like this could swivel up a bit, but I mean the flange is square. This bracket does look a bit lower than this one when the cross member goes across, but I'm guessing we'll see when we bolt it all up and have a look. Right, there we go, it's running. If I put my hand around here while it's still cool, I can't feel any gas escaping at all. So far, that's a bit of a win, I think. This is dripping a bit, I'd expect that. I reckon I'm going to have to adjust this bracket a bit because it's blowing water out, as you can see there, it might need a little move. Okay. So, successful test run of the exhaust. I'll just tighten this clamp up to make sure it don't leak any more. It was dripping some water out, but I think that's acceptable maybe. Did I take the prop shaft out before I put the... I don't know whether I should have put the prop shaft back in first. I think I took the prop shaft out to get to the top nut of the exhaust, which would suggest that it was still in when I took the prop shaft out. I may be having some fun and games in a minute trying to get the prop shaft back in. I can't remember the order I took it out in. Right, well it turns out you can get the prop shaft in when the exhaust is in, so it's back in, all bolted up. And the next thing to do is get the cross member back across so I can take this jack away from holding up the transfer case. Right, she's back down on the ground, sitting level, and no exhaust leaks. It's actually a bit of a good job. I'm really pleased with it. We're going to do another little job now, which is going to be inside. I'll do that on another video, but the reason I'm doing an inside job rather than the rear brakes, which I do need to do because that back plate is knackered, is because I want to use the car in the week, and if I start taking the wheels off and I run into a problem, then I'm not going to be able to finish. But I do need to get these wheels off. I bought some wheel bearings as well. Right, that's it for this video. Thanks for sticking with me for part 2. So you can repair an exhaust flexi on one of these on your drive if you're willing to give it a go. So thanks for watching so far. Keep an eye on the channel if you want to see a bit more work on the Porsche. If you want to subscribe, that's up to you. It doesn't cost you anything, but it does help to make me feel a bit better about the videos I'm putting together, because it means that people are watching them, which is great. See you on the next one.